Hello, this is Eric Auger, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Ask Me Anything with the founder and CEO of American Business Systems, Mr. Patrick Phillips. Okay, so Patrick, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got this business started, and tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, as you know, Eric, I worked for Apple Computer back in the 80s when the two Steves were still running the company, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. And I left Apple and I started my own computer training and consulting group. And over the next 10 years after that, I taught over 20,000 people how to use personal computers.
How did you and your wife get involved in medical billing?
Linda was doing some typing at home, for college students and business owners. And one day she was asked if she could file insurance claims for a medical provider. Well, she'd never even seen an insurance claim. But within about 3 days, she was filing dozens of claims for a small, durable medical equipment company. And this was back when doctors, of course, were filing paper claims. So she had to pick up the patient information from her clients and bring it back home and then type it on a typewriter and then fold it up and put it in an envelope and put a stamp on it, and then mail it to the insurance companies. Seems so antiquated now, doesn't it? Anyway, they would then issue a check, of course, to the doctor.
Patrick, it sounds like, I guess back then that was a lot of work. Did it pay well back then?
Oh, it was a lot of work, doing that manually like that. But man, it paid very well. Yes, we started doing so well. Our friends and family members began asking, how we were making enough money to buy a new home and new cars, and we never, ever seemed to leave the house even.
Now, Patrick, at some point you moved from typing the claims on paper forms to filing the claims electronically. Is that correct?
Yes. Once we realized that there was a way to, dial up and send something over the internet through what was called a modem, we were just off and running, doing it electronically. We could hardly even handle all the new clients that we were getting.
Well, that's interesting. Tell me how you and Linda were able to find new clients.
Well, the funny thing is that we never did much marketing because one doctor would tell another doctor and, that we'd increased his or her revenue by a huge percentage, and the referrals just kept on coming.
Did either you or Linda have any background in medical billing or medical coding or whatever these fields were during that time?
No, as I said, Linda had never even seen a medical claim, and I was a computer nerd, and had no background in the medical field. So we were just starting from scratch. I mean, we had no marketing materials, no training, no one to ask questions. I mean, we were just out there faking it on our own.
Then can you tell us about how you figured out how to market to physicians? Are they pretty busy?
Yeah, that was the hardest part of getting our business, to a solid six-figure revenue, Eric, knowing how to market to doctors. I mean, we knew that we had a valuable service to offer to them, but getting them to consider giving over their billing, to someone outside their office was a real big deal back then.
I'm sure. Obviously, then you learned how to market to those doctors. Don't you have several hundred licensees servicing doctors from coast to coast right now?
Yes, we figured out how to get past the gatekeeper, usually the office manager, and we now teach about a dozen different ways to market our services to all of our new licensees who come to our training workshop here in Dallas.
Okay, so Patrick, one last question. Can you give us a hint as to how you get a doctor interested in what you have to offer? Just one little secret that you've learned in the past 23 years of being in this industry.
Okay, well, I'll share with you a new marketing tool that we just came up with recently that's opening doors for our licensees and causing doctors to call them up and, ask them for more information. It's an ideal situation to have the prospective client, calling you. It's a simple tool, but one that costs us literally over $20,000 to develop and make available to our licensees. So are you ready for this great brand new tool? It's a book, but not just any book. This is a book that I co-authored with a medical doctor that explains how a doctor can get off the hamster wheel, work smarter, not harder, generate more revenue, and enjoy greater career satisfaction in the post-Obamacare era. And that was just the subtitle I read to you. I have a copy of the book right here in my hands, and the actual title is The New Thriving Medical Practice.
So why don't you tell us what makes this book so special, aside from the fact that you wrote it?
Well, we developed a way to have each of our licensees put their name on the cover of the book, right along with mine and Dr. Vicki Rachner's. It says forward by, and then the licensee's name is right after that. Now, we've pre-written the forward, of course. That's the first couple of pages in the book. And the licensee's name and contact information can even be put right there at the end of the forward. So it's actually printed right there in the book.
Patrick, that sounds awesome. So why do you think this is making such a great marketing tool for them at this time?
Well, Eric, imagine the prestige of having your name on the cover of a book written by the fellow who founded the nation's largest network of medical revenue managers. That's me. And a medical doctor, Dr. Vicki Rachner. That's called expert positioning, and it does just that. It positions our licensees as having partnered with a doctor to bring this vital information to their clients and other medical doctors. It just doesn't get any better than that, Eric.
Well, thank you for taking your time today, answering some of these questions for me and for everybody else. How can folks who are listening today find out more about what we're doing here?
Well, the best way is just to go to our website to find out more about the opportunity that we offer to people. It's absystems.com. And, just click on the orange button up in the corner there, and they can view our virtual brochure, which will give them all the details about our opportunity.